Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Just wanted to go over the check your understanding problems that I had assigned on Friday. Prior to that, though, I don't know if anyone saw the College Board announcement about the AP tests. They're going forward with them. They will be taken on the computer, at home. I haven't this week. I'm going to get into more specifics and more detail with it, but I do know that they will be free response questions. Okay. So we just want to make sure that when we're answering those types of questions, we're getting ourselves more familiar and getting ourselves like to the point where, as though we were going to take answer these questions on the actual AP test. So we just want to start building those habits to get us in that mode whenever we take the test. Okay. So the first question here was about Facebook use comparing two campuses of Penn State, the main campus and I guess their satellite campuses, or what they refer to as their Commonwealth campuses. And the first question was just kind of to calculate the conditional distribution. So we just wanted to figure out the percentage of main campus students that go on Facebook several times a month or less, at least once a week, at least once a day, and compare it to the percentage of Commonwealth students who do the same thing. Okay. Question two, why is it important to compare the proportions? Well, the sample sizes were so different, 910 compared to 627. So it would make no sense just to look at the actual number of students. You would have to figure out the proportion of students, okay, to make it more balanced. As you'll see here, I made a bar graph so we can make some comparisons, and I just wrote a few sentences like they asked. Students on the main campus, which I made this one right here. All right, these students were more likely to go on every day. All right, they're more everyday users of Facebook, as you notice the difference between the two here. And then I said the Commonwealth students, their largest difference was pretty much right here, that they were more likely to use it several times a month or less. Okay, so just some general statements based on the conditional distributions. All right. Now, the next check your understanding, which was the more important of the two. So, guys, if you didn't do that, I'd go back and make sure you practice this problem. Okay. I posted the PowerPoints. You kind of saw it with the notes, with the example that I included in there with the days of the week and birthdays. So that example kind of aligns with what was expected here. So this check your understanding was on page 705. Okay. Started there and continued on to 706. So it's the same data. We're now just pretty much asked in the question here do these data provide convincing evidence of a difference? So, okay, so now we have to find convincing evidence. We know we have to do a significance test, all right? And this I kind of liked how it was broken down in parts. There were 6 parts here. The first asked for your HO and your HA. There is no difference in the distribution of Facebook use among students at the main campus and students at the Commonwealth campuses at Penn State. The HA will be there is a difference. And you can throw the rest in quotes for our purposes, not for the AP test. All right. The next part here is a little lengthy as we had to find our expected counts. But like I told you, it's row total times column total divided by table total. All right. Now, I brought up the calculator here because I'm going to show you how to do it in the calculator, which is important. All right. It's going to make it a lot easier. Going to save us a lot of time. All right, so we had to find all these expected counts. Once we find all these expected counts here, we had to use that in our chi-squared equation, which is observed minus expected squared divided by the expected. That's the sum of that. So after you found all, I guess, 6 quotients, and you added those up, we should get this number right here, this 19.49 as our chi-squared statistic. Okay. Now, if you were running the test, like I'll show you, you don't have to do the chi-squared CDF, but it's important that you understand how to use that in case something were to come up in a multiple choice question or asked a little differently. Okay, and that's simply found just by going to, let me get a calculator here, menu, probability, that's where all our distributions are, and in this case, chi-squared CDF. So we would put in our test statistic, always as the lower bound, because it's always chi-squared is a right skewed graph. The upper bound's a big number. Degrees of freedom. I don't know if I told you how to do this the other day. I can't remember if I did or I did not, but it's the number of rows minus 1 times the number of columns minus 1. So we had 3 rows minus 1. We had 2 columns minus 1. So our degrees of freedom is 2. Okay. And there's our p-value, which is basically 0. All right. Part 5 asks us to interpret p-value. Now, just remember, interpret p-value is different than the conclusion. Assuming there is no difference in the distribution of Facebook use between students at Penn State's main campus compared to their Commonwealth campus, there's a 0.00059 probability of observing samples that show a difference in the distribution as large or larger than the one found in this particular sample. Okay. 6, I did not go into detail with. I just kind of summed it up. But if that was, in fact, our p-value, that would lead us to rejecting the HO, and we have convincing evidence in favor of the HA. All right. So what I would like to do now, and I probably should have put, well, we can use these numbers, I think. Nope, we're not going to be able to do it this way. It's all right. Just refer to the problem. All right. Hopefully you have it written down in front of you, or you can just bring it up. But here's how you're going to do it in the calculator. All right. So you're going to go open up a new document. All right. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start typing in the name of the matrix that we're going to form that's going to be our data. So in this case, I could just say Facebook. All right. So you're going to name your matrix. And you're now going to have to hit Control and this button right here. All right, so we need that little colon with the equal sign. So it's Control and the button right next to the 9. Okay. So Control, button right next to the number 9. And now we are going to hit that button next. What happened there? All right, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened, but TI Inspire had just closed out, so I had to reopen it. So like I said, you're going to open up a new document. Just type in whatever you want to name your matrix. So we're going to name this one Facebook. This next part here, in case, it's probably going to just be me repeating myself here, but Control, and it's going to be the button that's next to 9. We need that colon with the equal sign, all right? Then you're going to hit the button next to the 9 because we want to bring in a matrix here, and our options for matrix, once you hit right here, all right, this 3x3 button that's in the calculator, a box should appear. And now you can kind of designate however many rows and columns are in your data that you're given. But we have 3 different rows, all right, but we only have 2 columns. So we'll change that, all right? And now we're just going to enter the data that we were given originally, all right? So just like you see it, we have 55, 215, and 640. Again, I'll repeat myself as I'm doing this, but name your matrix. Type in whatever you want to type in, Facebook or whatever. Control the button next to 9, then hit the button next to the 9 to get those options, this button right here. Once you click on the matrix button, a box should appear designating how many rows and columns. So try to do that however you see fit with whatever particular problem. All right, so we have a 3x2 matrix, 3 rows, 2 columns. I entered the data exactly how I saw it. Now this next part is important, okay? The calculator has to register this information, okay? So once you enter it, you now have to hit enter. And now that you see that, okay, the calculator now has this stored, okay? What's going to come next is we're going to run our chi-square test. We're going to hit Menu, Statistics, Stat Test. This is not a goodness of fit. This is a two-way test. We have a two-way table, so chi-squared two-way test. Observed matrix means, well, what did you name it? Suppose you had more than one matrix right now saved in your document. So here's our Facebook matrix. Hit OK. and there's everything for you. All right, there's your chi-squared number, there's your p-value, there's your degrees of freedom. Now, if you look here, it says expected matrix, components matrix, all this stuff is available for you. Okay, because you're going to need that. You're going to need to list and show that your expected counts, right, are all greater than 5. So once you run the test, you now can hit this the var button here, the vars button, right? Okay, hit that button, and all these different things, okay, should appear, and you can click on any one that you need. So the first one I'm going to click on is our expected matrix, meaning what were our expected counts. All right, so bring that up, hit enter. There they are. And they coincide, right, with kind of like their cell or the spot that they were in. So for Penn State main campus students going on several times a month or less, our expected counts were 77.56. All right, and so on. Say I wanted to just bring up the p-value again, which really don't need to, but it's right in front of me, but I just want to show you these tools. There's the p-value. Let's say we needed the components. All right, the components. Which one of these contributed the most? All right, take a look here. There's the components. You can see the largest, which one of the chi-squared numbers got to our chi-squared test statistic, which one contributed, was the biggest factor in that. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else that we could use here. We have the p-value, our chi-squared statistic. We already know that. But all this stuff is right there for you. So just let me review this again. You're going to type in the name of the matrix. It's going to be this control button. And then you want the colon with the equal sign. Then you're going to hit this button next to the 9, which brings up all these different options of things. Within that is the matrix feature. Set this, make the settings however you need. In this case, a 3x2. Enter the data. And then run the test, menu 6-7 two-way test, and then you should be able to get these results. And then the variable, I guess it's variable button right here, the var button, will bring up different things should you be asked. Okay, now you do need to use it for expected counts. So guys, that saves us a lot of time here. This would keep, using the calculator would keep us from having to do literally steps 2, 3, all right, and 4. All this work by hand. Calculator did it for us. So what I'm going to ask you to do today is to watch this video, get yourself comfortable with the calculator, and then in your books on page 725, I want you to try number 37. Okay, try number 37 using this, and I'll post an answer to that later today. Okay, but again, guys, I hope hope everybody enjoyed themselves this weekend, took a little break. Hope everybody's staying healthy. What I would like to do is at some point this week, give like an optional Zoom or Google Meet. This way we can just kind of hang out, talk to one another, and see, hopefully I can answer anybody's questions should we have them, but I'll make that optional. But yeah, guys, so I'll post the assignment in Google Classroom. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.